Introduction. I have transmigrated. Transmigrated into a female flower-picking knight. That's right, the female version of a flower-picking bandit. Filthy, tainting the prince's family, smearing the son of a noble family, I am the highlight in a refreshing novel, the bug in a sad novel. The regent Prince Tangjing was kidnapped by the female flower-picking knight Tan Dao Dao and taken to the bridal chamber. What an honor, I am that unlucky Tan Dao Dao. I just took a nap. When I woke up I found myself lying on a large bed. Underneath was an extremely beautiful man sleeping soundly. Looking around there were red candles filled with happy characters and incense filled the air. I stood up in shock. The intense pain from my waist made me fall down, falling onto that man. In an instant all the memories of Tan Dao Dao appeared in my mind. This older sister was not only flirtatious by nature but also bold and daring, a famous female flower thief in the martial arts world, specializing in kidnapping handsome men who had just reached marriageable age to enjoy a night of debauchery. Yesterday was the day the regent Prince Tangjing had just reached adulthood. Tan Dao Dao kidnapped the handsome man, spending a passionate night with him. I didn't have time to think much. While this prince hadn't woken up, I had to quickly escape. I casually wrapped myself in my clothes and tiptoed out. Stealing this prince's body, you still want to leave like that? Just as I was about to open the door and run out, Tangjing woke up. I took a deep breath, thinking to myself that Tan Dao Dao's aura could not be defeated. When I turned around I was smiling brightly, bowing like a dog. "Does your highness have any other orders?" Tangjing casually put on an inner shirt, his long narrow phoenix eyes narrowed. "I heard that Tan Dao Dao would kill them after playing with men. Why is she so soft-hearted today?" "Your highness has outstanding demeanor. Such a jade-like body would be ruined. It would be a pity. The world is dangerous. We are fated to meet again." After saying that I opened the door and ran out. A second later I returned to my room and slammed the door shut. Outside the courtyard was a group of black-clothed guards. On the high platform in the distance were a series of archers. If it weren't for my quick reaction, I'm afraid I would have been shot into a sieve by now. "We meet again, Tan female knight." Tangjing had already gotten out of bed, dressed neatly, and sneered, "It seems we have a lot of fate." I knew I couldn't escape, so I decided to pretend to be strong, raised my foot and stepped on the chair and acted arrogant. "That's how it is, whatever you want just say it." "You mean you want to negotiate with this prince?" Tangjing seemed very easy to talk to. "Okay." I felt like I had been pardoned and flatteringly circled around in front of him, continuing to ease the atmosphere. "That's right, think about this carefully. The one who suffers is me. Proper exercise is good for your health, right? Moreover, your highness was also very comfortable last night. Don't worry, I, Tan Dao Dao, do good deeds without anyone knowing. I absolutely won't let you take responsibility." Before I could finish speaking, Tangjing suddenly hugged my waist and pressed me down on the table. His masculine breath was so close, it seemed to be right next to my ear. "Do you really think that this prince won't kill you?" His strength was so great that I even doubted how Tan Dao Dao kidnapped this guy. "Your highness, say it slowly, we don't have any deep grudges. There's no need for you to die and I to live like this. Listen carefully." Tangjing stared at me, the distance so close that our lips were about to touch. "Do one thing for this prince, I'll spare your life." "No problem." I nodded madly, almost hitting his forehead. "As long as your highness spares me, don't say one thing, 10 things are fine. All will follow your highness's orders." "If that's the case, don't resist, follow me." How could I dare resist, knowing that I was worthless? Compared to Tan Dao Dao's high martial arts, I was just a useless person. I obediently nodded, but unexpectedly, Tangjing suddenly bent down, his thin lips brushed past mine like a dragonfly skimming water, then stood up. "Tan new heroine is only so good. Only this little bit of bed skills is worth praising." Tangjing contemptuously wiped his mouth, sneering, "This king thought you would fight to the death." I blushed at his sudden provocation, thinking to myself that resisting was bullshit, surviving was good. But before I could feel the joy of escaping death, Tangjing called for someone. A group of black-clothed guards rushed in, tying me up with all their might. "Tangjing, don't change your face so quickly." I was a little angry, the speed at which his expression changed shocked me. "Just now you said you would give me a chance." "That's right, this is your chance." Tangjing glanced at me disdainfully. "Minister of War Jiang Xian is obsessed with beauty and especially cares about you, Tan Dao Dao. Today this king will give him a big gift. You must remember, you must get a black brocade box that he always carries with him back for this king. Understand?" This is using a beauty trap to steal things for him, and it's stealing things from a lustful old man. The key point is that right now I don't have any martial arts. This is really pushing me into a fire pit. I was about to refuse, but Tang Zheng's subordinates didn't give me a chance. They stuffed a piece of cloth into my mouth, and a black hat was also placed on my head. I started to struggle desperately, wanting to tell Tang Zheng I can't do this. Perhaps Tang Zheng thought I was humiliated, so he patted me and said, "Get the thing. After escaping, send it to the West Jiao Water Pavilion. You're a pervert. Being with an old man doesn't count as losing your virginity. Moreover, with your skills, escaping is absolutely not a problem. Rest assured, this king will send someone to rescue you." Rest assured, I screamed in my heart. Just like that, I was inexplicably brought to the Shangshu mansion. On the bed, my hands were tied behind my back. I felt an old man trembling as he crawled on me. I was scared and broke out in a cold sweat. After all, it was a spring night with Tang Zheng. He was handsome and elegant. I didn't lose out. But what kind of thing is this old Shangshu? I really hate Tang Zheng to death. I swear, even if I have to bite my tongue and commit suicide, I will not let this old man achieve his goal. Just when I was in despair, I discovered that a small knife had fallen out of my sleeve. This must be Tan Dao Dao's self-defense weapon. Just as the old man was about to untie my belt, I cut the rope and kicked this damn old man to the ground. "Tell me, where did you hide the small box?" I still hadn't forgotten about Tang Zheng. Otherwise, even if I escaped, there would only be one path: death. This old man opened his mouth to scream. I was so scared that I grabbed a vase and smashed it into his mouth. Bang! I saw blood all over my face. I secretly thought that this was not good. Perhaps I used too much force. The old man was probably frightened by my violent actions, trembling and wanting to struggle to stand up. I knew that in this life he had ruined many innocent young ladies, so I would consider it as me eliminating the harm for the people. Thinking that, I rewarded him with another vase of flowers. Just as the old man fainted, his hand also fell down, and in his hand he was actually tightly holding a black brocade box. And yet he hid it in his pants? I disgustedly used a piece of cloth to wrap it up and took the time to escape. However, the Shangshu mansion was not something you could just leave at will. As soon as I reached the courtyard, I was surrounded by people. The newly appointed Minister of War, the son of the old minister, stepped forward. "How dare he harm the old master? Someone kill this slut for me." He gave an order, and 7 or 8 blades carried the wind and rushed towards me. I secretly thought this time I was finished. Just as I closed my eyes and waited for death, a person suddenly rushed in front of me, followed by a clanging sound. All the swords and knives fell to the ground. I suddenly opened my eyes. Tang Zheng, wearing a brocade dress, was hugging me tightly. 3. "Your Highness, what do you mean?" Although the minister was unhappy, he still had some reservations towards this prince regent. "This woman is Tan Yao Yao, who just severely injured my father." "That's right." Tang Zheng carried me out. His black-clothed guards immediately restrained me. This prince's reputation for the rest of his life was ruined in the hands of this woman. This prince must personally chop her into 100 pieces, making her life a living hell. After saying that, Tang Zheng also ignored the minister's face, which was as black as a pig's liver, and just like that escorted me away. I felt a little funny. I didn't expect Tang Zheng to be such an excellent actor. I handed him the black brocade box. Who knows what kind of toy this is, but right now, preserving my life is the most important thing, yet Tang Zheng refused to let me go. "Are you sure you want to leave now?" Tang Zheng took a sip of tea and stared at me. "Just received the news. The old minister was beaten to death by you. If you just step out of my mansion's door, you will be shot into a porcupine by his soldiers." I really wanted to punch this man who was leisurely drinking tea. "You set me up." Tang Zheng put down his teacup and stared at me. "If you help me with one more thing, I will send you to a neighboring country, far away from this place of trouble." "No way. Who knows which old man you want to give me to again?" I refused honestly. "After the matter is done, I will give you 10,000 taels of silver. That's enough for you to change men every day." "What man? I have no interest, but the life of spending money like our country is still very enjoyable." I coughed and said, "We have slept together. We are not outsiders, so I will help you one more time, but I will say it first, I will not do anything dangerous." A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of Tang Zheng's mouth. He stood up, bowed to look at me. "The capital of Nanshan Kingdom, Du Nanshan, has a family heirloom, a red brocade box. You can get it for me." I was truly speechless. Tang Zheng was the mighty prince regent who held immense power. Why did he like to do such petty theft? I continuously shook my head and said, the Du family is much more formidable than the Ministry of War's family. They are all big gangsters who kill without blinking an eye. I am powerless. Money is hard to earn and shit is hard to eat. Your Highness, please find someone else. Do you think I am negotiating with you? Tang Zheng's face darkened and he tightly pinched my chin. This king doesn't have the patience to talk nonsense with you. If you keep talking nonsense, believe it or not, I'll make you eat shit right now. The few times Tang Zheng treated me gently, I almost forgot his devilish nature, and was immediately scared to the point of peeing my pants, not daring to disobey him anymore. As a result, I was tormented by 7 or 8 old women all day, and at night I was stunned by myself in the mirror. I was really too beautiful. I wanted to fall in love with myself looking like this. The men that Tan Dao Dao slept with were not considered to have suffered a loss. I didn't notice that Tang Zheng's eyes never left me. I was just about to be a little arrogant with him. This big sister is beautiful, but in the end I was wrapped in a brocade quilt and carried out like that. Just when I was about to suffocate, I was finally placed on a bed. Tang Zheng seemed to be sitting next to me, saying, Du Nanshan's only son, Du Jiling, comes to this Xiaoxiang Inn every day to have fun. This king wants you to pretend to be the new beauty of the inn, charm Du Jiling into bringing you back to the mansion, and take the opportunity to steal the red brocade box. Use all your charm, Tan Dao Dao, no man can resist you. Tang Zheng threw down a sentence, then closed the door and left. This guy seemed to be praising me, but why do I want to beat him to death like this? Du Jiling was a famous playboy. There was almost nothing he didn't dare to do. The door quickly opened. A man walked in humming a soft tune. Oh my, this Xiaoxiang Inn has a new style. Let me take a look. As he spoke, he lifted the blanket off me. I was about to imitate the worldly prostitute, give him a charming wink and call him master, but unexpectedly, this scholarly-faced Du Jiling fell to his knees with a thud, crying and calling out to his benefactor. I was a little stunned. After listening to Du Jiling's self-narration, I realized that Tan Dao Dao had once saved his life. At that time he was not yet of marriageable age. Tan Dao Dao's heart was filled with passion, and she conveniently did a good deed once, causing this Du Jiling to never forget. After learning that the person who saved him was the female flower thief Tan Dao Dao, Du Jiling immediately regarded me as a god. This time, seeing my idol, I was definitely excited to death. I used my eloquence and personality to completely conquer him. This guy actually directly brought me home to get the family heirloom. On the way, I used the excuse that men and women should not touch each other, and sent Du Jiling to go get the family heirloom himself, so I quickly went to tell Tang Zheng the good news. Your Highness, you didn't lie to me this time. This idiot Du Jiling is my crazy fan. I already agreed with him. As long as he uses a brocade box as a dowry, I will agree to marry him. The Du family is extremely rich. I should retire and live in seclusion, enjoying life. I admitted that I was talking nonsense. Marrying Du Jiling was definitely a plan to cover my eyes. I wanted to escape Tang Zheng's control. I held a piece of cake and talked until the sky exploded, not realizing that Tang Zheng's expression had stiffened. You like him? Tang Zheng turned her head away, her face hidden in the darkness. Not bad, although he is a spoiled brat. He is fair and clean, looks like a scholar, and is also silly and interesting. A woman finding someone who can love her is enough. Marriage is a big deal. How can you joke about it? Only then did I realize his face was so ugly. I was still wondering, getting the brocade box so quickly, Tang Zheng should be happy. He definitely hated me for changing my plans without permission. No kidding, I've thought it through. If I say it, the prince can still be considered half of my matchmaker. When the time comes, the celebratory wine will definitely include the prince. As for the brocade box, I will definitely get it for the prince. Ten Yao Yao. Tang Zheng suddenly shouted, this prince. Before Tang Zheng could finish speaking, Du Jiling had already returned. I hurriedly pushed Tang Zheng away and ran to Du Jiling's carriage. Du Jiling happily told me that he couldn't get the family heirloom. His father said he wanted to personally hand it over to me and wanted me to go to the Du mansion to deny my ancestors. I knew that old Master Du was famous for spoiling his son. Without thinking, I jumped into the carriage. I didn't see it. Tang Zheng, who was standing behind me, had crushed the handrail. The Du family was splendid and splendid. I was overwhelmed by the main hall and was able to meet old Master Du. Old Master Du said bluntly, Miss Tan, my Du family doesn't care about background. My son fell in love with you at first sight. I also agree to this marriage. It's just that Miss Tan is knowledgeable. My son definitely won't catch your eye. Is Miss Tan aiming for my Du family's heirloom treasure? No, I said frankly. I'm not aiming for your family's heirloom treasure. I'm aiming for your family's money. I'm already tired of the Zhang Ho. The young master is gentle and mature, and his family is rich. He's the most suitable for me. Old Master Du suddenly laughed heartily. If that's the case, please look at the treasure, sign the marriage contract. After that, I immediately saw the brocade box in the marriage contract. My heart was filled with excitement. I picked up the pen and was about to sign the marriage contract. Whoosh! A sound. The marriage contract on the table was shot into the pillar by an arrow. Duong Trung strode forward, pulled me into his arms and angrily said, "Damn Dao Dao, you dare to sign. Who dares to barge into the Du mansion?" Old Master Du stood up abruptly, and saw Tang Jing leading a group of red-clothed guards to defeat all the martial arts experts that he had paid for. "Your Highness, what are you doing? What are you crazy about at this crucial moment?" I growled at him in a low voice. I was about to get the brocade box. What was he crazy about? Tang Jing ignored me, looked at Du Nanfeng and said, "The day I came of age I entered the bridal chamber with Tan Dao Dao. Tan Dao Dao has long been my woman. Du Nanfeng, you want to snatch someone from the regent prince's mansion for your son?" Hearing this, Du Nanfeng immediately knelt down on the ground. I didn't know that the prince had come. This Du was foolish. This brat didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth, admired the princess consort, and that led to this great act of treason. My Du family is only a true businessman. I hope the prince will forgive me. I hope the prince will forgive me. He stared at Du Nanfeng, his eyes deep, not knowing what he was thinking. I quickly waved my hand to explain. "Old Master Du, don't talk nonsense. I'm not some princess. I can't reach Tang Jing." Tang Jing grabbed my wrist again, turned around and dragged me away. It wasn't until they pulled me to the West Jiao Water Pavilion that I shook his hand off and angrily said, "Tang Jing, what the hell is wrong with you? You changed your plans without consulting me?" Tang Jing glared at me. "Do you still have me in your eyes? You actually used the important matter of marriage as a condition. You're a woman and you don't know the two words shame. Tang Jing, I've put up with you for a long time." I also exploded. "You should understand clearly, you were the one who told me to go steal things. You were the one who wrapped me up and sent me to someone else's bed over and over again. I worked for you and you still scolded me for being shameless? Don't I need face? Furthermore, what right do you have to care who I'm engaged to? We've only slept together once, not even a sexual partner counts. At most I'm just one of your pawns, and a pretty pawn at that, but no matter how pretty I am, I'm still just a pawn. What to do? I've lost face and been insulted by you. I won't do it again." After saying that, I turned around and ran out, but Tang Jing raised his hand to pull me back, directly pressing me against the wall. The kiss like a storm took away my breath. I started to struggle. This Tang Jing was too cruel. Did he want to kiss me to death? After a long time he let me go. I opened my mouth wide to breathe in the fresh air. At this moment the door was pushed open. Tang Zheng's close guard, Zhao Ying, knelt down in panic. "Master, our royal palace has been sealed by the imperial guards. The emperor ordered you to quickly enter the palace on the 5th day of the imperial edict." The gloomy look on Tang Zheng's face flashed and disappeared. He waved his hand and walked out. I hurriedly pulled Zhao Ying. "Brother, did I hear wrong? The palace is sealed? How is that possible? He is the crown prince regent." Zhao Ying was cold, but I could see the anger in his eyes. "In order to save you, the royal guard was mobilized. Tan Dao Dao, even if you have the heart, you should know the prince's intentions." I stood there frozen. I asked around and only then did I know what Tang Jing had done during this period of time. The old regent prince returned in triumph but died of illness on the way. The emperor began to take action against the regent prince's palace, which had great influence. Tang Jing, in order to avoid suspicion, proactively surrendered his military power, only keeping a few dozen black-clothed guards, which made the emperor feel at ease. How many masters did the Du family have? Tang Jing, in order to break into the palace, actually mobilized the well-hidden red-clothed guards, immediately revealing his true strength. The emperor was furious, listing a bunch of crimes and sealing the regent prince's palace. According to Zhao Ying, Tang Jing revealed his hidden strength to save me, but the one who sent me into the tiger's mouth was Tang Jing. I suddenly couldn't understand him, and for the first time, I realized that I might have been caught up in the struggle in the imperial court. Tang Jing didn't enter the palace to meet the emperor. So going back now would definitely be a dead end. He took me out of the city. On the outskirts of the road, a carriage blocked our way and the person who got out of the carriage was Du Jiling. With Tang Zheng's consent, I met Du Jiling alone. He gave me a box and inside was the Du family's heirloom, a red brocade box. This is an external object. If you want it, benefactor, just take it. After saying that, Du Jiling bowed to me. Du Jiling, you pretending to be a playboy and also pretending to be stupid, it was all on purpose, right? I looked at him with interest. He smiled and said, "This farewell, I wish you peace and prosperity and all your wishes come true." After saying that, he turned around and left. I carried the brocade box back to the carriage. When Tang Jing saw the red brocade box, his expression suddenly darkened. I quickly waved my hand and said, "I didn't sign the marriage contract. This is what Du Jiling gave me." I don't know what he meant, but he's definitely not as stupid as he looks. Tang Zheng's expression looked a little better. He took the red brocade box and sneered, "Handing this over at this time, aren't you stupid? What exactly is inside this brocade box?" I was actually very curious. Tang Jing stared at me. "You better not know, you love life so much, knowing won't be beneficial." Is this thing that dangerous? I thought to myself. "Your Highness, your matter. I know everything. What does your Highness plan to do?" "I have to go to Lingyong. On the way we will pass the border of Beishang country. You get off the carriage there. I have already prepared your luggage. 10,000 taels of silver is enough for you to live for the rest of your life." After saying that, Tang Jing was about to get off the carriage. I quickly pulled him back. "Xiaoying said you are injured, you can't ride a horse." Tang Jing didn't even look at me, waved his sleeves and got off the carriage, urging the horse to gallop. We traveled day and night. Finally a week later he brought me to Jiaxing Gate. Actually, during this week my mood was particularly complicated. Before leaving, Tang Jing gave me a Xianlong token, then stuffed me with a sachet of incense. "A man is not worthy of this delicate thing. I will leave it to you. Consider it worth your effort to follow me." I looked at Tang Jing galloping on his horse, his robes fluttering, and had the urge to chase after him. But I held back. I knew I had no reason to follow him. The road ahead of him was full of dangers. To him I could only be a burden. I brought the sachet to my nose, sniffed it. It was really fragrant. Forget it, scheming and plotting did not suit me. I decided to go enjoy the beautiful mountains and rivers of the southern Xian kingdom. I passed through 18 provinces, and my reputation as a flower-picking female knight made my journey smooth sailing. Every time I encountered enemies seeking revenge, I would take out the Xianlong token, and it would turn danger into safety. Until 3 months later I took out the token again and was captured by a group of soldiers. Only then did I know that Tang Jing had encountered trouble. It was said that he wanted to usurp the throne and was seriously injured. After he recovered, he would be escorted back to the capital to be beheaded. Hearing this news, my heart suddenly felt like it was being squeezed. I didn't dare to imagine how that arrogant man would be wearing prison clothes and sitting in a dark prison. I wished I could fly over to Tang Zheng's side to see how he was doing, but now I still had to worry about myself because of the matter of the Xianlong order. I was considered Tang Zheng's accomplice, and would also be executed. Just when there was no other way, the prison door opened. The prison guard walked in without saying a word. He opened the shackles on me and led me out. In a small house, the prison guard coldly said, "Don't ask me why, just tell me where you got this Xianlong order. If you still say you picked it up, I will send you back to prison." I didn't know if he was an enemy or a friend, so I simply told the truth. Tang Jing gave it to me. The prison guard frowned. "You are the flower-picking female bandit Tan Yao Yao? You can judge a book by its cover." The jailer suddenly stood up. "Tomorrow morning I will take you out of the city. Go as far as possible. The young master agreed to give you this Xianlong order. It is to ensure that your princess is safe and sound." The 2 words princess made me feel a sharp pain. I pulled him back. "This big brother, I will not go." "Are you his man? I want to know, how is he now?" "Wait. Impossible, he is Tang Jing." I was so worried that I spoke nonsense. "You have to save him, that's right, isn't there the 5-dragon seal? The 5-dragon seal can save him." The brocade box that Tang Jing wanted me to steal was called the 5-dragon seal. This is what I heard people say when I was traveling in the past, after the previous emperor of the southern Xian kingdom rose up in rebellion and ascended the throne. The 5 forces that had followed him went into hiding in the southern Xian kingdom's territory. It was said that together they could mobilize all the hidden troops of the country. However, the 3 words 5-dragon seal made the old man tear up. Young master only collected 3 keys except for the golden dragon seal in the emperor's hand. There is one more key that no one can get. Where? Tell me. I didn't know where I got the courage to say this. After all, I was the one who got the 2 locks of the 5 dragon seals. That night, the jailer and I talked all night until the city gate opened. I was chased out of the city, going straight to Lingnan Mountain. The jailer looked at my back and knelt down. 7. The last lock of the water dragon seal was on Lingnan Mountain. The jailer said that no one could get it, because it was in the hands of a group of arrogant and unruly Xiaoyao people. The so-called Xiaoyao people were actually people who were not under the control of the Nanshan government, nor did they belong to the common people. They were a stateless organization. These people did not bow to the emperor, did not believe in gods and Buddhas, so no one could order them to hand over the seal. But this was Tang Zheng's only chance to turn the situation around. I knocked on the mountain gate, was forced up the mountain by the disciples, and met the Xiaoyao king wearing a big mask. Facing this group of arrogant and domineering people, I immediately declared my reputation as the female sword thief Tan Dao Dao. Unexpectedly, not only did I not scare them, but instead I made them draw their swords. You are men who hold the sky high and the ground low, yet you bully a weak woman. You are truly heroes. I took a deep breath. How could these people not be like the legends of the ungrateful and heartless? The heavens do not disappoint those who trust in you. Tan Dao Dao, have you forgotten me? The king of the unfettered palace pulled off his mask, revealing a face full of terrifying scars. That year when I was of marriageable age, you kidnapped me and you thought I didn't have the appearance of the legends, so you used a knife to slash my face. Tan Dao Dao, I have never seen a woman as vicious as you. Kill her, kill her. The screams of killing resounded throughout the sky. My mind buzzed. This Tan Dao Dao could do such a thing. She was truly a bad person. But why am I so unlucky, having to bear the consequences for her? I resolutely gritted my teeth. Thud. I knelt down on the ground and said, Great King, I can let you handle it. Can you help me with something? I raised my head. I need the 5 dragon seal. Xiaoyao Wang laughed heartily. Tan Dao Dao, you delivered yourself to my door and you still dare to ask me for help? Can we put aside our personal grudges? I prepared to use sweet words to persuade him. The old regent died unjustly. That emperor was not a good person. He even wanted to kill his son. How pitiful is the little prince. Think about it, if the Tang family wasn't there to guard it, when the 3 countries of Bei, Shang, Dongyang and Shiyun attacked, wouldn't the people suffer? For the sake of the people of the world, and also for the sake of the great king and his brothers to be at ease, you should also save Tang Zheng, right? The entire hall fell silent, and the king of the unfettered realm's face darkened, making his face even more ferocious. What is Tang Zheng to you? We slept together once. Don't worry, I really hate him. Look, you hate me, I hate him. Aren't you 2 good brothers? I need a reason. I like him, okay? I suddenly stood up, feeling all the uneasiness, grievance and worry from the past turn into anger rising up my throat. Didn't you want to kill me? If he died, we would be together. You hate me so much. How can you let me have my way? Therefore you must save him. I beg you to save him. If that's the case. Xiaoyao Wang suddenly threw down a dagger and pointed it at me. You personally slash your face. I will personally save the person in your heart. I grabbed the dagger, my heart pounding. The blade was extremely sharp, clearly reflecting my pale face. I knew that this time I would probably die here for real. Disfiguring something could save Tang Zheng. It must be worth it. I didn't know whether to trust this Xiaoyao Wang or not. I was about to die anyway. If that was the case, I would take a gamble. I gritted my teeth, grabbed the dagger and slashed my face. Clang. The dagger was sent flying by another blade, and immediately after that, I was tightly embraced by a warm embrace. Mui hung quen thuok noi tonggang dao len quanin la duong trung de kion geo zit hien truok mat ta. Kong hi ko chut nao tam hai, engwak lai kon hi tre han truok da tavua kin gak vua vui mung hoi don dap, chien gi dang zara ve? Duong trung dung tao lao mat cho ta. Tata dap ung voi huin de kao niam nong emoti chut. Kong ngio bon ho lai lam qua len nu vei. Sao du tata hu ra tatsi, duong trung moi la tu dao vong that su, han ko wai tung tin jiamin by thuong by jiam juladami hok kudaik da ta that su tiu si john, nim vui swang duok gap lai duong trung sao kai thot chet bien mat kong kon tam hoi, trong fong, ta lin dan hanamo ti tran. Vui lam sa? Ta ti lo lang muon chet, kak nuoi kong di lam dien vien ti dang teek, duong trung nuoi dung la du con. Tamo kwa che ara nagwai, mot doi te lon tu fia sao oam chat laid tot ni na thay duong trung lon dao tien dung jong noi dio dong kong the dio dong han. Bao bioi, ta tuk su rat no nong ton than ta nu by dien jiat, ku tu sao bie thang chia te, gon nu gay now ta kung mo thay duong trung, ta kung kong fi ku ng, ta beat ko lamin de dong long voi han and hung ta kung. Nan tuk duok ro 6 tri qua min, quang catch qua hai chung ta mot troi mot vuk. Wai gi nai that su kong nin ko dat vive bai geo ta john la vi han lua ta bai to long min, ta rat mat day ko beat kong. And hung luk nai kam nan duok su dio dong him ko kwa nuoi nam nan nai, that su ko chut kong the chong du noi. Ta chi la mot quan ko kwa vong jia ma thoi, luk nai vui vi le ra kao niam choi dua mot chut. Dam dao dao. Duong trung zoe nuoi ta lai, doi mat sang goi tran de lo lang, tang kong kio, thu kong nan, vi tama muon hui dung, con kung ming lam gi. Noi den chien nai talin du mat, lap tusi noi john loi din. Nuoi con ko mat mui ma noi sa, ta beat nuoi by thuong nong ti so muon chet. Lon nai koi nu ta sai. Duong trung oem cham le ta. In hung bai geo ko chien quan trong han la tren kai dung sai. Ko luk ta kem thay duong trung that su qua tu tin, si nuok van dang trui na han. Ben noi han lai ko the ton tom ton yom my nan. Sang hom sao tuk day, ta hoi duong trung, nuoi din kai now ti koi bin? Duong trung sung so, koi bin gi? Kong fi nuoi muon son goi sao? Duong trung dung on mat nin kuan jinin ta. Nong tin sa. Ko la vi lon dao tin sie than va tom du dang hien. Duong trung noi cho ta beat ko hoch koi kung. Tra han Thursday thapen golongan, chi la de jiao dike voi hong thuong. Hanasi dang len guin luk ko the de doa den hong thuong, doi lei suan ton cho nip chin vong fu. This surprised me a lot, because Duong Trung's personality was not like someone who was afraid of death. I heard Truan say that the main point in the deal with the emperor was to ask him to spare the comrades who had gone through life and death with the old regent king. I breathed a sigh of relief, unconditionally supporting Tang Zheng's decision, even feeling that I had become Tang Zheng's woman, after all his subordinates had started calling me princess consort. I followed him back to the capital and was brought to a heavenly hall in a daze. The empty and majestic main hall felt like this was not a place a woman like me should go to, and I had a bad reputation. Tang Zheng told me that after dealing with the emperor he would come pick me up, but I waited until the sun set in the west, but Tang Zheng still did not appear. I had a bad feeling. The door to the room creaked open, and a handsome man wearing a yellow dragon robe walked in. Without even thinking, I knew that this was Tang Zheng's cousin, the emperor of the southern Xian kingdom. Tang Jun, you are Tan Yao Yao? As soon as he opened his mouth, he exuded the majesty of a ruler. I cannot give you a title, after all your reputation outside is not very good, but I can give you a life of glory and wealth. Wait a minute. I felt like I had entered the wrong channel. Your Majesty, are you kidding me? Didn't Tang Jing tell you? The emperor laughed smugly. From today onwards you will follow me. Your Majesty, please don't joke with me, okay? I worriedly took a few steps back. Tang Jing cannot fool me. My cousin is much more noble than you think. For the sake of the family, for the life and death of his brothers, he can throw away power, money, and even his life, let alone a woman. I don't believe it. I don't believe it 10,000 times. I want to see Tang Jing. Now. I was too lazy to talk nonsense with him, turned around and ran out, but was grabbed by him. The 9-5 Supreme also revealed a sinister expression. From young to old he has always been better than me in every way, but so what? This entire Nanshan kingdom is mine. Old imperial uncle is dead. When the tree falls the monkeys scatter. Tang Jing, on his head is still engraved the 4 words loyalty to the king and love for the country. What can he do to me? She is the woman he cares about. I not only want her as a person, I also want her heart. You're dreaming. I struggled with all my might and shouted, with your narrow-mindedness, you are not worthy of being the emperor. I have been to the 18 provinces of Nanshan, and have seen only the suffering of the people, natural disasters and man-made calamities. You forced Tang Jing to the brink of death, and he never once thought of usurping the throne. Don't you feel guilty? Haha. Am I going crazy? Tang Jun finally revealed a crazy expression that did not belong to an emperor. I am actually discussing important national affairs with a slut like you. Tang Jing did not rebel because the golden dragon seal is in my hands. He cannot rebel. This time he found all 4 locks of the 5 dragon seals for me, and no one in this world can threaten me anymore. Then where is Tang Jing? I really did not want to say another word to this person. Rest assured, I will not kill him. Tang Jing will live out the rest of his life in prison. The emperor pulled at my skirt. You dare to go against the emperor's will, I will kill Tang Jing immediately. You are the emperor I hate the most. I burst into tears, removed his dirty hands and took off my coat myself. I could not stand by and watch Tang Jing die, even if he really gave me up to this bastard emperor. Just as the emperor's dirty hands were about to touch me, a sharp arrow shot from outside through the window, bang, and pinned me to the table. Immediately afterwards there was a commotion outside. Someone shouted loudly, "Your Majesty, something bad has happened, there are assassins breaking into the palace." The emperor hurriedly turned around to open the palace door, grabbed the eunuch on the ground and angrily asked, "What happened?" The regent, the prince, is leading people to prepare to break into the Heavenly Kin Palace. The emperor's hand clearly trembled. He turned his head and pointed at me and coldly said, "Take her with you, I want to see what Tang Jing wants to do." I was escorted to the Heavenly Kin Palace, saw Tang Jing wearing golden armor, wearing a black and yellow cloak. He seemed to have lost weight. I don't know why. Seeing him, even though there was a knife to my neck, I still felt strangely peaceful in my heart. Seeing me, Tang Jing's eyes seemed to be glued to me. Until the emperor sat on the throne, all the civil and military officials in the palace fell silent. Tang Jing is so bold, you should be in prison right now, barging into the palace in the middle of the night. Do you want to rebel? The grand eunuch standing at the foot of the throne shouted loudly on behalf of the emperor. Only then did Tang Jing look up at the throne, draw the sword in his hand, and without hesitation cut off the grand eunuch's head. In the Golden Palace, there were officials who peed their pants in fear. The emperor's face also turned pale and he clenched his fists. "You dare to kill Dabao? This old dog is causing chaos in the court. Imperial brother, you have really changed." Tang Jing waved the blood on the sword away and loudly said, "You listened to bad words, trusted traitors, and caused Nanshan to become weak from a powerful country. Tang Jun, you are the sinner of Nanshan." Tang Jing's voice trembled slightly. "You are also my enemy. Tang Jing, did you kill my father? You are my biological uncle. You poisoned my mother. You have killed too many people. You are also the sinner of the Tang family." My eyes were a little stinging. I looked at him with heartache, but he didn't look at me. "Shut up." The emperor angrily slammed the table. "Tang Jing, when you made a deal with me before, you swore that the sky would not fall, the earth would not be buried, and Tang Jing would not betray me. What are you doing now?" "I agreed to surrender my military power so that the 3,000 soldiers, the 300,000 troops who had followed me through life and death, could continue to protect their home and continue to fight for the country. I agreed not to fight for the throne so that the people would no longer have to suffer and could live in peace. I agreed to find enough 5 dragon seals for you so that you could have complete peace of mind, be close to virtuous ministers, stay away from petty people and become a wise king. But what did you do?" Tang Jing was so emotional that the sword in his hand made a clinking sound. "You killed and exiled my brothers who had gone through life and death with me. You deposed and expelled the honest officials. You oppressed and exploited the common people. You exiled me to prison. The entire Regent Palace never saw the light of day again. These things made me want to commit suicide in prison to avenge myself, to warn you one last time." Speaking up to here, Duong Trung lowered his head, then suddenly raised his head, pointing at me, his eyes as if wanting to tear the emperor to pieces. "And yet you dare to touch my woman? Dong Tuan, remember this for me. If you dare to touch her, I will chop your body into pieces, turning you into a tyrannical king who will not even have a whole body after death. Your Majesty, our imperial guards have been destroyed by the hermits, and uprisings have taken place everywhere," raising the regent's banner to respond to the little prince. A guard hurriedly ran over, holding a messenger pigeon to report. "Rebellion, rebellion." The emperor jumped up from the throne. "Ha ha ha, Tang Jing, for a woman, do you really want to rebel against me? After all, you have always coveted my throne, right? My woman, I want her. This world, I naturally want her too." Tang Jing looked at me, his eyes filled with tenderness. "Tan Dao Dao, do you want to be my empress?" I was crying like rain. At this moment I should loudly say, "I do." Complete the touching proposal ceremony, leaving a deep impression. However, the emperor will never let that happen. I am Tang Jing's weakness, will definitely experience life and death separation. 10. I don't want to. I sobbed and shook my head. Tangjing, I have no feelings for you whether you are emperor or prince. It has nothing to do with me now, I just want to live, I don't want to die. Tangjing, hate me, hurry up, as long as you hesitate a little, the emperor will no longer be able to threaten you. The emperor laughed heartily. See Tangjing, your loyalty is just a laughing stock to the world. For a promiscuous woman you dare to betray me? How ridiculous. In that case I will let you watch your woman die before your eyes. Take action. The guard holding me clearly raised his knife. I knew that in just a few more seconds I would die on the spot in such a short period of time. I basically didn't have time to say goodbye to Tangjing. But at this moment, I felt an unprecedented power burst out from within my body. I instinctively leaned back, raised my hand to grab the guard's wrist and used force to turn him sideways. Clang! The weapon fell to the ground, and immediately after that guard also fell to the ground. I raised both hands and was horrified to discover that Tan Dao Dao's martial arts had miraculously returned. Tangjing rushed forward. A sword stabbed through the guard's throat, pulling me into his embrace. The emperor shouted loudly, taking out the 5 seals. Tangjing, the 5 dragon seal is here. All the hidden soldiers will obey and protect the emperor. Even if I die, your body will be chopped into pieces. The 5 dragon seals obey orders. Tangjing rebels and kills the king. Tan Dao Dao is evil and causes chaos. The hidden soldiers and horses must quickly protect the emperor. Kill those too. As soon as the emperor finished speaking, he raised the 5 assembled seal flags, but there was no warning sign in the sky. The emperor immediately panicked. Tangjing, you dare to use the fake 5 dragon seals to deceive me? The black-clothed guards immediately restrained the emperor, snatching away the 5 seal flags. The emperor suddenly laughed loudly. Tangjing, you won, but you will also forever lose the woman you love. I have already poisoned her, the beauty of the country, the beauty of the country. Wanting the country or wanting the beauty, what a headache. After speaking, the emperor hit his head on the dragon pillar, dying on the spot. In the 8th year of Yongjia, Emperor Tangjun passed away. The new Emperor Tangjing ascended the throne, changing the era name to Taiping. I fainted right after Tangjun died. When I woke up, Duong Trung had cried until his eyes were red. This kind of poison will not kill in a short time, but I have to stay in the special environment of Lingnan Mountains Tianqi and take medicine to recuperate. I will not die, but I will never leave Lingnan Mountain again. Tangjun is really cruel, the choice he mentioned is really painful. The country has just been established, the political situation is not stable. Tangjing has not slept for 3 days and 3 nights. A person like him absolutely cannot leave the imperial court. I also will not allow him to leave. Otherwise I will be the sinner of the world, I will also despise myself. 3 days before leaving the capital, Tangjing hugged me tightly, not willing to let go. Tangjing, I'll just ask you one question. I raised my head and looked at him. In the Golden Palace, you said you once thought about committing suicide? Is that true? Tangjing thought for a moment, still nodding, but immediately seeing my pained expression, he hurriedly explained. At that time I was also very disappointed. My heart was as cold as ashes. There's one more thing. I took a step back. I want to ask you, at that time when dealing with Tangjun, did you never think that he would go back on his word and forcefully take me? Tangjing moved his lips, but in the end he still didn't say anything, only nodding vigorously. You sleep by yourself tonight. I slammed the door shut with a bang sound. Explain this to me tomorrow. In this world, the person who dares to speak to the emperor like that, I'm afraid there's only me. After Tangjing left, I looked at his back through the crack of the door, black clothes with yellow belt, the hem of his robe fluttering, full of imperial aura, truly too handsome. However, I had to leave. Until his figure disappeared from sight, I realized that tears had been rolling down my face. That night I left without saying goodbye. This would be good for both him and me. Tangjing belonged to the entire Nanxian kingdom. As for me, I only belonged to the Lingnan Mountains Tianqi. 2 years later. This Tianqi is really beautiful. I live here to rest and recover. I have gained 2 pounds of weight, and I have also made a little friend, the woodcutter's son Shirtu, who often comes to visit me. Tangjing has not come once in the past 3 years. I think he has probably forgotten me. Now, I don't think about Tangjing as much as before. I feel much better than when I first arrived. Sometimes I don't think about him for 10 days or half a month. After all, in the early days thinking about him day and night was really unbearable. Today I was drinking tea in my room when I heard Shirtu shouting outside the door. Sister Yael, something big has happened, we are replacing the emperor. What? I was so startled that I spilled my tea and hurriedly opened the door. My first reaction was that something had happened to Tang Jing. What happened? Explain clearly. As a result, I saw Tang Jing wearing a jade brocade robe standing in front of my room, his hands clasped behind his back. His demeanor was overwhelming. I slammed the door shut with a bang, feeling like my heart was about to jump out. What was going on? Was this a dream? I immediately heard a voice from outside. This female knight, I've come to return your things. It was him. I felt my throat dry and asked, what do you owe me? An explanation. I did something wrong before and was punished by her to sleep in the study. This one sleep was for 2 years. I leaned against the door and said, then explain, I'm listening. At that time I only thought of giving her what she wanted so she would be happy. Even if Tang Jun wanted her, he could give her a life of luxury and wealth, and his looks weren't bad either. I thought as long as she was happy. Nonsense. Am I that greedy for money in your eyes? Is it okay as long as I'm a man? I was amused by him. But as soon as I thought about him being able to touch her, I couldn't hold back. So this matter was my fault, so I escaped from prison. I sobbed, tears silently falling. After a long silence, I heard Tang Jing speak loudly outside. You like handsome men. Tang Jun is handsome, but not even 1/10,000th of me. That's why I used myself as a dowry. You like money. Being a concubine or a concubine is not as good as me giving you the vast mountains and rivers, so I'll use the country as a dowry. Heroine Tan Dao Dao, will you agree to be my wife, to travel with me through the 4 corners of this beautiful country? I couldn't hold back any longer, suddenly opening the door, throwing myself into the arms of the man who was smiling like the morning sun. I can't leave Tian Tri. I can't go see the beautiful mountains and rivers with you. He patted my back lightly. I found a way to cure you in this world. You can go anywhere with me. I raised my head to look at him. You're not going to be the emperor anymore? What about the country? Tang Jun's son is the regent. Although he's still young, he's a wise king, and he also has Du Jiling assisting him. You're really generous, but the country isn't something to be spent. How about we exchange a dowry, like 1,000 taels of gold and silver or something? Wife, there's something more important than gifts right now. Tang Jing picked me up, slowly walking into the house. The door slammed shut, leaving only white clouds floating and the world shining brightly. And